Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the residents of the Village of Salve, it is my honor to welcome the Governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. I would like to just address some of the special guests that are here today. Syracuse Common Council President Van Robinson, Mayor of the City of Auburn, Michael Quill, Mayor of Canastota, Carla DeShaw, Mayor of the City of Cortland, Brian Tobin, Mayor of Oneida, Max Smith, Mayor of Oswego, Tom Gillen, members of the Syracuse Common Council, members of the Onondaga County Legislature, members of the Salve and town boards. Last week, as you know, the governor proposed $30 million into his executive budget for the revitalization of communities surrounding Onondaga Lake, communities like Salve. On the tour today, all of you saw firsthand the areas that we were talking about, the dilapidated roads, the vacant lots waiting to be used, and the massive amounts of potential for these properties. And the state is partnering with our local officials to make sure that each of these potentials is reached. They are investing in our communities so that we can create jobs and grow our local economy and contribute to the state's recovering economy. That is what the governor has been doing for the last 3 years, and that's what he's doing here today. And ladies and gentlemen, it's working. Small towns and villages across the state are seeing an influx in the activity like never before. Now it's our turn. Now it's Geddes and the village of Salve's turn. Governor, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for the continued efforts that you're doing for the communities of this great state. I am now pleased to introduce Town Supervisor Manny Falcone.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Benedetti, and welcome to the town of Geddes. Governor Cuomo, on behalf of the residents of the town, we would like to express our excitement regarding the future outlook of the West Shore revitalization. This project will not only benefit our tax base, but will bring in new people to our town to visit our businesses. The state is funding a comprehensive plan that will undoubtedly change the trajectory of Onondaga Lake and its communities. On behalf of my town board, Deputy Supervisor Jerry Albrigo, Paul Valeni, Bob Krupa, Ed Weber, Mark Kolakowski, and Kelly Fassinger, as you can see, we are unified in this project. I would like to thank the governor for bringing us back together and look forward to welcoming him back when the projects are completed. I am now pleased to turn over the presentation to Chairman Brian McMahon.
We got a full room today. Is everybody excited? This is just a great day, and I'm ecstatic to be here. It's very rare when Central New York will see the kind of leadership out of Albany that we've seen over the last few years here. And I think we have a lot of our state officials and our governor here today to kind of show you a product. And this is a product that is a great product, but it says a lot that Albany's working again, and we're pleased to be a part of it. I want to thank a couple of my colleagues specifically for playing a significant role in this process so far. I know that our Majority Leader, Pat Kilmartin, is here. Judy Tassone, who represents the Lakeland area, is here. Our EP Chair, Mike Pochacki, is here, and I know all my other colleagues are here too. But this is a game changer for the western side of Onondaga Lake. We've seen a lot of investment and a lot of success on our eastern side. We've seen great development at the Inner Harbor, and now it's this side of the county's turn. And this project that we're going to hear from today is a game changer. It's going to revitalize our town in Geddes, our village in Salve. It's going to deal with the infrastructure needs, the housing needs that have been here for so long. And it's also going to create jobs. And I think that's what's important today. The goal here is to create jobs, create opportunity to bring more people here into our community, and to make Onondaga Lake the tourist attraction that it once was and will be soon. So saying that, I want to thank everybody for this great collaboration. Governor, thank you so much for being here. Our county executive has been a tremendous leader in this process, and also a great partner in this process has been our Assemblyman, Bill Magnarelli. Bill, please join us.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate all your efforts and the efforts of the county in this endeavor. Even though we just got back into session, it's always good to see the governor here in central New York. So again, Governor, thank you for coming to the 129th Assembly District. You're welcome anytime. I want to take a moment to acknowledge my colleague from the New York State Legislature, Al Sturpey, my Assembly colleague. You know, when I first went to Albany, New York government was kind of in disarray. Dysfunctional, late budgets, and constituents who had lost faith. And I've said this before, I think in front of an audience here in Geddes. But the governor had said to me at that point in time, we have to bring back trust in our government. And I think we can safely say today that that's happened. I'm particularly proud of what New York State has been able to accomplish in the last 3 years. Overall, our government is functioning in a bipartisan manner, and our progress is making a difference. Unemployment rates are down in every region of New York State. In the last year alone, upstate New York experienced the largest drop in its unemployment rate ever recorded. New York ranks second in the nation for job growth since the recession, creating 390,000 New York private sector jobs. Today's announcement of the Onondaga Lake Revitalization Project is another example of the state making economic investments that can transform our communities. This project will create jobs and help bring back Salve and the entire Onondaga Lake region. And I want to take this opportunity to again say to the governor, thank you for thinking of upstate New York. Thank you for thinking of central New York and bringing a focus back to this area, which we greatly need. It's been a pleasure to serve in Albany with this governor, and I look forward to another successful session. I'm now pleased to introduce someone else I've been very happy to work with, our great county executive, Joni Mahoney.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here. I have a few notes because there's a lot to this project, and I want to make sure that we give you a clear understanding of what it is that the governor is kickstarting for us here in Onondaga County. We just had the opportunity to travel through the village of Salve with Governor Cuomo, and the governor was able to see that Salve is a wonderful village. Salve has everything. It is not a blighted village. It's a village with a proud history that was built up around Salve Process and Allied Chemical and LCP Chemical, and it employed a lot of people in our county. And Salve has persevered despite the fact that we've lost some a large portion of that industry. So now, because this whole community has benefited from things that happened in Solvay, I think it's important that all of us come back together to try to help Solvay solve some of the problems that were left behind when we lost some of the big industry that we did. And we're going to do that with this project. First and foremost, this project is about jobs. Governor Cuomo has made it very clear that any state investment has to leverage jobs. It's not about a handout, it's about creating an opportunity. And we have met that challenge here, and we have a couple ways that this new project will generate employment. And it's not just in the short term, although there are short-term jobs as well. We're going to have construction jobs, there's going to be road reconstruction jobs, jobs for folks that are making improvements to our wastewater treatment system. But on a bigger scale, I can tell you that our Economic Development Director, Mary Beth Primo, and her office are continuously bringing site selectors. People want to be in Solvay in large part because of the low-cost power that's here, but we've had a couple nagging issues, and we need to roll up our sleeves and we need to solve those issues. And this project is going to do that. We have two primary problems. One is we have some wonderful building sites for job expansion and job creation, but the wastewater system in Onondaga County is such that the capacity is taken in some areas, and we have more than enough capacity in other areas. So without going into a lot of detail, I'm telling you that we're going to solve that problem by redirecting some of the wastewater treatment issues and open up that capacity. There will be hundreds of acres that will be made available for site selectors to be in Geddes and in Solvay as a result of those improvements that Onondaga County is making in partnership with this investment from the state. The other issue has been the brownfields. And there are a lot of folks that really are attracted to Solvay, but because it is so costly to get us over that final hump with some of the remnants of the industry that were left here, we're going to supplement the governor's brownfield program, and we're going to clean up a lot of the acreage on the western side of the lake, not on the lake shore, but on the western side of the lake, so that some of the businesses that want to locate here in Solvay and in Geddes and have been just needing that extra push to get them over the hump, they're now going to be able to do that. There's another part of it, and you're here in a building where we can illustrate it for you, but some of the old infrastructure in Solvay has resulted in what I'll call leaky pipes, and when we have a big storm, a lot of that storm water makes its way into the sanitary sewers and takes up a lot of the capacity that we could be using for people who want to create jobs here. So we're going to do things like we've done in this building already and bring our Save the Rain program here and try to do some of the projects that'll keep that stormwater out of the system so that you don't have to pay to treat clean rainwater, and at the same time those sites will be able to be put to work for you for job creation. One major improvement, and we highlighted it for the governor, this project is going to improve Bridge Street. From the State Fairgrounds over on State Fair Boulevard all the way to the village at Milton Ave. That street is not at all pedestrian friendly, and it's a real welcome mat for the village of Solvay, and we would like to, when people are coming to the new site or people are coming to the State Fairgrounds, we'd like it to be an easy, beautiful walk into the village of Solvay. It'll help the businesses in Solvay if we can capture some of those million people that come to the State Fair and have them be able to walk up the street. We have beautiful pictures of what we've been able to accomplish in the last year. I don't know if any of you have seen University Ave in the city of Syracuse or Water Street. We want to create a complete street where people will be able to walk, bike. We're going to bury the utilities, and we're going to make the street a beautiful welcome mat for people that are visiting the village of Solvay. This project that is... and by the way, Governor, Bridge Street is a state road, and I would like permission to do that. Details to follow. I'm also very proud to tell you that we have money in this project to improve the streetscape on Milton Ave. We're going to redo sidewalks, plant trees, put in lights and bike paths in that main street in the village of Salve. We'll get a much-needed facelift. There's housing as part of this project. There's $10 million in this project for housing. $5 million of that will be set aside for senior housing. There's something really remarkable about the village of Salve and the generations of people that stay here. And we don't have the housing stock in the village of Salve to make it easy for people who want to stay in the village that their grandparents grew up in, that their parents grew up in. Salve has a real proud tradition, and we want to make it easy for people who want to grow old to be able to do so in the village of Salve. So money will be set aside to create senior housing as part of this project, and the additional $5 million will be to help create new market rate housing. There's money in here for deconstruction. There are areas that are suffering from a little blight, and we want to have money set aside for deconstruction. There's facade improvements. The legislature chairman has insisted on a matching grant for homeowners. If homeowners are willing to put a little of their money into their houses to spruce things up, the county is going to do the same in partnership with the state. There's small projects as part of this, medium-sized projects, large projects. There will be something for everyone. The governor has set very high goals for minority and women-owned businesses to participate in projects. And not only has he increased those goals, but he's exceeded those goals. And we're committed here to do the same thing. We're going to put small businesses to work doing the projects that we're highlighting here today. And last but not least, a key part of this project for us is going to be working in partnership with New York State to create a new concert pavilion on Onondaga County Park land across the lake from Onondaga Lake Park right now. This is a drawing of where it'll be on the site, but you'll all be happy to know that we're actually going to look far and wide. We're going to have a wide open competition for architecture. There's some very interesting facilities that have been built around the country and around the world, and we're going to have a competition for an architectural project right here on the shores of the lake. And we're going to put in docks to accommodate water taxis. We'll be able to bring people from the village of Liverpool straight over. There will be access to the Inner Harbor and all that's been happening in the Inner Harbor to bring folks up to this site. This white line that goes around is the extension of the trail, the Loop the Lake Trail. You can now walk from the village of Liverpool all the way around the lake to the site where this will be. You'll be able to ride your bikes. It's going to be paved all the way over there. And when you see this open around Memorial Day of this year, I think you'll be able to see views that you never knew existed, that you could live your whole life here. And because this lake has been so dirty and we've been walled off from it, for you to be able to get out on the lake and see the lake from that vantage point, I think people are going to be very, very pleased. And I think they're going to appreciate the commitment that we made, that because it was public dollars in large part, federal, state, and local public dollars that cleaned the lake, that there will be public access to the lake. This will remain an Onondaga County Park facility. We hope it will bring folks in, and with the new welcome mat, those folks will come, they'll stay, they'll visit in the village of Salve, and this project can help us all rise together. I really want to highlight, too, another thing that the governor has insisted on. I don't mean to make you sound difficult to work with, Governor, but the governor has insisted on a timeline, as he says, in real time. All of these projects will be started this year in 2014. We hope to have that open by the end of the construction season in 2015, and I hope that you will very, very quickly see the improvements. The county is going to bring parks, facilities, our water, environment, our community development, all hands on deck. We appreciate the leverage that the state is giving us, and we're going to make this project happen well and happen quickly. This is overall about a $100 million project. A key part of this is going to be that Onondaga County Legislature is going to direct the $2.5 million in casino money that we now get because the referendum passed. We will not get a casino in Onondaga County as a part of that deal, but we will start to get some of the revenue from the Turning Stone because of the deal that Governor Cuomo has put together. So that money will leverage $50 million for this project. The state is committing $30 million. We have our sewer fund, our community development fund, our village improvement fund. It's all hands on deck. We expect $100 million will be invested publicly that we think will leverage even more in private development in Solid in the next year and a half. So before I go, I want to thank Mayor Benedetti and Supervisor Falcone. It was wonderful, the reception that we got when we came and we said we wanted to do this project in Salve and Geddes. You have been tremendous. I look forward to working with you. Bill Magnarelli, second to none. Bill has done a lot for Salve and Geddes already. We're happy to be partnering with Bill Magnarelli. The governor's team, my team, Ryan McMahon, the chairman of the legislature. I could not do this without the good work of the legislature. The only request I have is that when we get all done, that Manny Falcone get a new T-shirt and stop with the... And now it is my pleasure. After all of that, I appreciate your patience. I wanted you to know that there's a lot more to this project than this anchor facility. There are going to be jobs, economic development, opportunity. We have a governor that is committed to upstate New York, central New York. He understands the power of public dollars to leverage private dollars and to help us all rise together. I am proud to call him my friend. We are lucky to have him as our governor, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure to be back in central New York. Sun is shining, a tad cool, but the sun is shining. Pleasure to be in Salve, and we had a great tour this morning, as you heard, going through Salve, understanding some of the history, some of the challenges, and some of the promise in Salve. And I was joined by a great group of elected officials who you've heard from this morning. First, Mayor Benedetti, I want to thank him very much for his assistance. I called Saturday morning. I want to talk to Mayor Benedetti, so I figured let me try the office. And I called the office, and phones answered. Hello, Mayor Benedetti. I said, Mayor, this is Governor Cuomo. What are you doing on a Saturday morning working and answering the phone yourself? He said, what are you doing calling on a Saturday morning? Mayor Benedetti, thank you for your leadership and everything you do. Supervisor Manny Falcone, glad to hear you got a new T-shirt. Let's give him a round of applause for his great leadership. Chairman Ryan McMahon, who's a really impressive fellow, came down and gave a great presentation with the county executive on this project, and really is what public office is all about, and it's great to see young leadership coming in. Ryan McMahon, pleasure to be with you. Your Assemblyman, Bill Magnarelli, I've known for many years. He's a great Assemblyman for the district. He represents the district extraordinarily well. What you may not know is he is one of the respected leaders statewide, and his voice in the Assembly, when Bill speaks, people listen. And he's been a great friend to me and a great advisor to me. It's a pleasure to be with him. Bill Magnarelli. To your county executive, who you heard go through the project, which is really inspiring and I think visionary, and I'm proud to be a part of it on behalf of the state. But the county executive has done extraordinary service once again. I think to be in government service now, it's really about two skill sets. One, the ability to bring people together, and two, the ability to actually get things done, make things happen. And the county executive is both of those things. She can bring people together, she can get past the differences, and she can actually make government work and get things done. We've talked about a lot of projects. We had a lot of ideas. This project has been talked about for 20 years. The challenge is to make things happen. And this county executive is making things happen. And let's give her a big round of applause. Well, this is so exciting, and as you've heard from the previous speakers, the story of Salve is the story of Syracuse, is the story of upstate New York. It is a story of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's a story that says we were at one time a great manufacturing state, great manufacturing cities, great manufacturing region. This region built not just this state, but it built the nation. Salve was about salt processing. Syracuse was about steel mills. We were about the Erie Canal, a great visionary, talk about economic development project that changed not just the state, changed the nation. 1817, when they first proposed the Erie Canal, they said the governor was literally insane for proposing such an ambitious project, believe it or not. And it turned out to make the future of New York and open up the future for the United States of America. And that then drove upstate New York, and that's what made upstate New York the manufacturing capital that it is. We were along the Erie Canal, made New York City what New York City was. You know, New York City, they believe everybody came to New York City. They came to New York City because they were going up the Hudson to the Erie Canal. That's why they came to New York City. So that's what we did. We made things. We built things. We took raw materials, fashioned it into steel, took the steel, fashioned it into products. And we did that for decades. And that drove a great economy in this state. And it made this state the #1 state in the nation. And then that economy stopped. The manufacturing economy stopped. The industrial economy stopped. We came to another decision that said those types of jobs were overseas, that we couldn't compete with the cost of manufacturing. And almost like a light switch, you saw that manufacturing economy dwindle down. And we lost jobs when that economy slowed, and we lost our economic raison d'etre. Not only did we lose the jobs and lose the development, but then we had an additional problem because we had the stain of the manufacturing era. And we had all the residue of the manufacturing era. And we had to clean that up. Brownfields, just the manufacturing era residue. Lake Onondaga, the manufacturing era residue. We were building so fast, and we were so ambitious and so aggressive in what we were building, that we weren't really thinking about the environment, and we weren't really thinking about the aftermath, and we had to dump excess material and dump the residue, and we did. And then this state had to suffer through that cleanup, which was very hard and very expensive and very long. And that was a difficult period for the state. At the same period of time, New York State was very expensive and getting more and more expensive. Highest taxes in the United States, state of New York. Highest taxes in the state of New York. Here's my great economic forecast. You do not have a rosy economic future if you are the tax capital of the nation. Why? Because people are smart, that's why. And because people are mobile. And if you're the highest tax place, people will leave. They can get on a plane, they will leave. And we saw that in upstate New York. Year after year after year. Young people leaving. Why? Because they wanted to? No. They didn't want to leave. This is their home. This is New York. They had to leave. They had to leave to get a job. They had to leave because they couldn't afford the taxes. And that compounded the problem that we had. And we suffered mightily. But as you've also heard, today is a new day. And you can see it and you can feel it. And it's everywhere you look. This project is just the cherry on the cake saying it's a new day. that Lake Onondaga is as clean as it is, as quickly as it is. Assemblyman Magnarelli said on the tour, I never thought I would see the day that the lake would actually become such an asset to the region. The lake is clean. Property taxes in the state of New York are going to come down. We're working on it this year. We have a new attitude about government. We get it finally. The state government gets it finally. We cut income taxes in the state of New York last year. Middle class, up to $300,000 in income, which is a big middle class, up to $300,000 in income, the lowest income tax rate in 60 years. That's the income tax rate in the state of New York. We understand that we have to get the cost of government under control. The county executive gets it. The county executive is working with the city of Syracuse, saying we have too many governments. Everyone is doing everything. How do we get the cost down? How do we share services? How do we find out how to cooperate to reduce the size and the cost of government? And this project hits it exactly right. We need jobs. We need businesses. We need the locations for the businesses to come. This is clearing acres and acres of open land, saying to businesses, we're ready for you to come. The site is clean. It has the infrastructure. We have the power. We have the water and sewer. We are open for business. And we want you to come. We're going to put this together with another state program we just started called Startup New York. Startup New York is very simple. You know what it says? If you move to this area, you pay zero taxes for 10 years. Zero taxes for 10 years. Why did we lose all those businesses because of the high taxes? We're going to do the exact opposite. And we're going to offer them no tax zones if they'll come back and they'll bring the jobs. Because if we have the jobs here, then we have everything. If we're generating jobs and we're generating income, then those people are paying taxes. The mayor's happy, the supervisor's happy, the county executive's happy. Even I'm happy. And as you heard from the county executive, it's hard to make me happy, right? So that's what it's... That's what this project is going to do. We got unemployment numbers that came out yesterday that show great progress in creating jobs all across the state, but especially in upstate New York. And we have, as you heard from the Assemblyman, we have been focusing like a laser on the upstate economy because, in truth, upstate New York hasn't gotten enough help from Albany for too long, and we're reversing that. And to see those new unemployment numbers come out and see great progress in job development in upstate New York, that is really good news. So it is a new day, and the arrows are pointing up. And my last point is congratulations to you, because you did it. You did it. There is, first, no place in this country like this great state of New York. No place can fundamentally compete with who we are and what we have. I spent 8 years in Washington. I worked all across the country. I worked in every state. And there are some nice states, but there is no state like this great state of New York. No one has anything that they can compare to us. And the best thing that New York has is New Yorkers. And congratulations to you, because you didn't give up. And you made today possible. And you said Salve is my home, and Geddes is my home, and Syracuse is my home, and Central New York is my home, and I'm not leaving. And I'm going to make this place a better place. That a fundamental responsibility for us as parents, as citizens, is to leave this place better for our children than we found it. And our home is New York, and your home is Salve, and it's Central New York, and it is going to be better for the next generation than it was for us. And as you're making progress here today, let that be the legacy that you leave behind. It's my pleasure to be part of it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Governor, so very much for coming to this great village of Salve. That now concludes the program for today. Thank you, everyone here, for coming and welcoming our governor. Thank you.